Researcher Gonzalo Chavez announced this week that he assisted a group of physicists and specialists from several scientific fields in gaining direct access to the Buga sphere, marking an important moment in the ongoing investigation of the mysterious object. After spending hours examining the sphere's unusual engravings, seamless metallic structure, and unexplainable internal components, the group later sent a message to Chavez confirming that they had all departed with the same conclusion. Each researcher felt certain that the sphere was not a simple artifact or artistic fabrication, but a genuine technological device whose origins remain unknown and whose complexity warrants serious scientific study. Their shared assessment has strengthened the growing belief that the Buga sphere represents one of the most compelling physical mysteries of the modern era. Stephen Greer revealed that shortly after new information about the Buga sphere was made public, a group of mysterious individuals dressed as officials attempted to steal the object. According to Greer, their arrival was sudden and unannounced, and their behavior suggested they were acting under secret instructions. Witnesses claimed the individuals tried to remove the sphere without offering any clear identification or documentation. This incident immediately raised concerns that a deliberate effort was being made to hide the sphere's true significance. For many following the case, the attempted seizure reinforced suspicions that a wider cover-up was already in motion.
Hello everyone, this is Dr. Stephen Greer. I'm in Mexico City. As many of you know, we've been examining the Buga sphere for the last 2 days with Congressman Burleson and a group of scientists. We've just been notified by Jaime Mason that there was an attempt by fake policemen to enter the vault where this Buga sphere is stored, and we have notified security and the apparatus I'm working with under law enforcement. And you should know that the other risk here is that we have taken specific samples from the Buga sphere that will be tested in a state-of-the-art lab to prove whether or not the metal, as well as some of the other components, are of Earth or outer space origin. Those scientists' information have been provided to the top law enforcement and security apparatus that I'm working with, and so any sort of attempts to interfere with this examination will be known, and the people and perpetrators will be held to account for. So this is what I wanted people to know, and we're doing everything to set up security for this. Thank you.
The mystery of the Buga sphere stands today as one of the most extraordinary technological mysteries ever recovered on Earth. What began as a brief sighting in the skies above Colombia has transformed into a global scientific riddle, one that challenges long-held assumptions about humanity's past, the limits of known engineering, and the possibility that advanced visitors have been observing Earth for far longer than previously imagined. The case erupted into worldwide attention after the sphere was first filmed maneuvering through the air above the city of Buga on the 2nd of March, 2025. Witnesses watched in disbelief as the object glided, accelerated, hovered, and shifted directions with a precision that defied every known aerodynamic principle. Moments later, it struck a power cable, destabilizing what appeared to be an electromagnetic flight system, and spiraled downward to the ground. By the time authorities reached the landing site, the object was intact, cool to the touch, and completely unlike anything produced by modern engineering. The first detailed examination stunned researchers. The sphere had no seams, no screws, and no sign of weld lines. It appeared to have been forged or printed as a singular unit, with a surface that reflected light like a dull metal, yet contained a softness and pliability inconsistent with any recognized alloy. Even more intriguing was its weight. Despite its size, the object registered at just over 4 pounds, far lighter than expected, raising immediate suspicions that it employed some form of gravitational manipulation. The most astonishing revelations, however, emerged only after scientists gained access to its interior and discovered that the Buga sphere was far more than a simple metallic orb. Using advanced scanning technologies, a research team from the National Autonomous University of Mexico began analyzing its internal architecture during the early months of 2025. By the month of September, their findings had become impossible to ignore. Inside the sphere was a labyrinth of microscopic wiring eerily similar to fiber optic cables, arranged with symmetry and precision that surpassed even the most advanced communication systems known today. These networks branched outward to 3 distinct layers of metal-like casing, each appearing to serve a specific structural and electromagnetic function. At the very center lay a nucleus that researchers began referring to as the chip, although its function remained unknown. Surrounding that nucleus were 18 smaller microspheres, positioned in a perfect geometric configuration, almost as if they were nodes in a broader intelligence or communication system. Just when the scientific community thought the mystery could not deepen, another remarkable detail emerged. Embedded within the sphere's internal layers was a form of organic resin. Unlike the surrounding metal-like materials, this resin was clearly biological in origin, offering researchers the rare chance to apply radiocarbon dating. After months of preparation, the sample was cleaned, dried, treated, and subjected to accelerator mass spectrometry. The results, released on the 19th of September, were definitive and astonishing. The resin dated back to over 12,000 years ago. This placed the origin of at least part of the sphere somewhere in the late Ice Age, at a time when humanity existed only in scattered tribes with no known capacity for large-scale engineering, let alone the construction of complex aerial technology. The implications were profound. The age predates the pyramids by thousands of years. It predates the earliest cities of Mesopotamia. It predates agriculture in most parts of the world, and yet the fragment embedded in this technologically sophisticated sphere was undeniably ancient. Many researchers concluded that such an object simply could not have been produced by the cultures known to have existed during that period. In their view, the presence of 12,000-year-old resin inside an electronically intricate sphere with layered metals and fiber optic-like structures pointed to one conclusion. The object did not originate from human society. Even more mysterious was the condition of the soil where the sphere landed. Witnesses reported that the surrounding grass had dried out almost instantly upon the object's arrival. When investigators reached the scene, they found that all the vegetation within the impact zone was dehydrated, devoid of moisture, and stripped of life. There were no burn marks, no charred edges, and no indications of fire. Instead, the soil appeared to have been drained of energy itself. Scientists studying the aftermath suggested that this phenomenon may have been caused by an intense concentration of negatively charged particles, which can remove moisture from the environment in mere moments. This type of energy release is unknown in conventional human machinery. Another astonishing layer to the mystery emerged as engineers monitored the sphere in the months following its recovery. The object began to change weight. Initially weighing just over 4 pounds, it shifted to roughly 16 pounds, then 20, and eventually settled at around 22 pounds, all without any change in volume. For researchers like engineer Rodolfo Garrido, this suggested a controlled manipulation of gravitational fields. He theorized that the sphere possessed an internal power system capable of adjusting its mass to facilitate levitation, acceleration, or other forms of movement far exceeding ordinary aviation. In his view, the sphere's flight characteristics, its electromagnetic field, and its weight fluctuations all pointed toward an advanced propulsion system unknown to modern science. This interpretation gained further support from those studying the sphere's internal microspheres and nucleus. Some researchers proposed that the 18 surrounding microspheres functioned as a distributed communication or sensor array, allowing the object to gather and transmit information across distances. Others believed the central nucleus might act as a processing core, controlling the object's electromagnetic system. If true, the Buga sphere was not merely an unusual artifact. It was a probe, possibly part of a network of similar devices designed to observe, study, or interact with Earth. These conclusions have ignited enormous debate. Many see the sphere as proof of extraterrestrial intelligence, arguing that the level of technology demonstrated is centuries or even millennia beyond current human capabilities. They point to the seamless structure, the embedded wiring, the multi-layered metal casings, and the ancient resin as evidence that Earth has been visited long before recorded history began. Others argue that the sphere might represent a relic of a forgotten human civilization that rose and fell before the known ancient world emerged. Supporters of this view suggest that the archaeological record may be incomplete, and that the Buga sphere could be a surviving fragment of technology left behind by a culture erased by natural disasters or global upheaval during the end of the Ice Age. Not everyone is convinced by these theories. Dr. Julia Mossbridge expressed skepticism, suggesting the sphere could simply be an elaborate art piece. Although she acknowledged that the internal scans were impressive, she questioned whether the video footage of the flying object truly matched the sphere recovered at the site. Yet even she admitted that the scientific findings were difficult to ignore, noting that the unusual features of the sphere placed the case in a category unlike any known hoax. Complicating matters is the involvement of journalist Jamie Maussan, whose history with controversial claims has divided public opinion. While some believe his participation undermines the credibility of the investigation, others argue that without his platform, the evidence might never have reached global audiences. Regardless of his reputation, the laboratory results presented by independent engineers and scientists have remained consistent, suggesting that their findings cannot simply be dismissed. As the months pass, the Buga sphere continues to generate more questions than answers. Its weight fluctuations remain unexplained. Its internal structure defies replication. Its radiocarbon-dated resin places it in a time when humanity lacked even basic tools for metallurgy, and the object itself, though grounded and silent now, still possesses an aura of purposeful design, as if it is waiting for something or someone to activate it once more. The mystery of the Buga sphere cannot be easily categorized. It challenges archaeology, physics, engineering, and history simultaneously. It stands as one of the rare cases in which a tangible object, not a fleeting light or distant sighting, provides direct evidence of technology beyond known human capability. For many, it is the most compelling sign yet that Earth has been observed by forces far more advanced than humanity, possibly throughout its long and turbulent history. In a remarkable event that has captured global attention, a series of photographs have recently surfaced online showing a glowing, unidentified flying object hovering above the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem during the night. The images, uploaded by several eyewitnesses, depict a bright, glowing orb floating silently over one of the most revered and significant religious sites in the world. This incident has sparked widespread discussion, with many questioning the nature of the sighting, while others speculate about its potential religious or extraterrestrial significance. The images, which have been shared on social media platforms and news outlets, are clear, vivid, and difficult to dismiss as ordinary objects or tricks of light, prompting renewed interest in the UFO phenomenon. The Dome of the Rock is one of the most iconic and sacred sites in the world, located in the heart of Jerusalem on the Temple Mount. It holds profound religious significance for Jews, Christians, and Muslims alike. Built in the late 7th century, it is one of the oldest surviving works of Islamic architecture and is regarded as the third holiest site in Islam. According to tradition, it is the spot where the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven during the night journey. Given the religious and historical significance of the Dome of the Rock, any unusual event that occurs in its vicinity inevitably draws attention. In this case, the appearance of a glowing UFO over the site has only heightened intrigue and speculation. The symbolism of a UFO hovering over such a spiritually charged location has led to various interpretations, some viewing it as a sign from above, while others see it as further evidence of extraterrestrial interest in humanity's most sacred places. What sets this sighting apart from many other UFO encounters is the clarity and detail of the photographs that have been uploaded. The images show a glowing orb of light hovering above the Dome of the Rock, seemingly stationary in the sky. The object emits a bright white light, which contrasts sharply against the dark night sky, making it easily visible. Eyewitnesses describe the UFO as being silent, with no noticeable movement or sound, adding to the mystery of its presence. Multiple angles of the UFO were captured by different individuals, all of whom uploaded their images to social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit. The consistency of these images, taken from various vantage points, has made it difficult to dismiss the sighting as a hoax or mere optical illusion. Furthermore, video footage of the event has also emerged, showing the glowing object hovering for several minutes before abruptly disappearing into the sky. The clarity of these photographs is a key reason why this sighting has garnered so much attention. Unlike many other UFO sightings that are blurry or ambiguous, The images from Jerusalem provide a clear and detailed view of the object, making it harder for skeptics to dismiss the event as a simple misunderstanding or camera malfunction. This level of clarity has led some to claim that the photographs represent some of the best evidence of UFO activity in recent years. The public reaction to the glowing UFO sighting above the Dome of the Rock has been one of awe, curiosity, and, predictably, skepticism. Social media platforms were flooded with comments and discussions almost immediately after the images were uploaded. For many, the sighting is seen as a deeply spiritual or significant event, occurring at a location that holds great religious importance. Some individuals have interpreted the glowing orb as a divine sign, a message from the heavens, or even an indication of a miraculous event yet to come. For those who subscribe to religious interpretations, the timing and location of the sighting add a layer of symbolism that transcends ordinary UFO encounters. Others, however, see the sighting as further evidence of extraterrestrial involvement in human affairs. There has long been speculation that UFOs are drawn to sites of historical or religious significance, and the Dome of the Rock fits this pattern perfectly. In the minds of UFO enthusiasts and researchers, the sighting over Jerusalem could be interpreted as a sign that extraterrestrial beings are observing humanity, particularly in places that are key to our cultural and spiritual history. However, skepticism persists as well. Critics argue that the glowing object could be explained by more conventional means, such as a drone, aircraft, or an atmospheric anomaly. Some have suggested that the light could be a reflection or a result of camera artifacts, pointing to the prevalence of drones and other aerial devices in modern urban environments. Others have raised the possibility of a hoax, though the number of witnesses and the consistency of the images have made this explanation less likely. The glowing UFO above the Dome of the Rock is part of a broader trend of increased UFO sightings around the world in recent years. As governments, including the United States, have started to take the UFO phenomenon more seriously, releasing declassified reports and videos of encounters with unidentified aerial phenomena, public interest in the subject has surged. The Jerusalem sighting fits into this growing awareness and curiosity, fueling speculation about what UFOs truly represent. There is a long-standing history of UFO sightings near places of religious or historical importance. From ancient temples to modern-day monuments, UFOs have been reported in the skies above many significant sites. Some UFO researchers believe that these sightings suggest a connection between humanity's spiritual evolution and extraterrestrial activity, while others argue that these sites simply attract more attention, leading to more frequent reports of anomalous objects. The recent sighting of a glowing UFO hovering above the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem has renewed interest in the long history of UFO sightings in the region. Jerusalem, one of the most sacred cities in the world, has been the focal point of numerous historical, religious, and mysterious events. Over the years, there have been several reported UFO sightings above this ancient city, particularly near its holy sites. These sightings have captivated both UFO enthusiasts and skeptics alike, as the city's profound religious significance seems to amplify the intrigue surrounding these phenomena. The Dome of the Rock, in particular, has been the site of repeated UFO sightings. One of the most well-known incidents occurred in January 2011, when multiple witnesses reported seeing a bright, glowing object descend over the Dome of the Rock during the night. The event was captured on video from several different angles by various individuals, showing a small, luminous object hovering in the night sky. After hovering for a few moments above the holy site, the object shot upward at an incredible speed, disappearing into the sky. These videos quickly went viral and sparked widespread debate. The footage was analyzed and scrutinized by both believers and skeptics, with some arguing that the video showed a genuine UFO encounter, while others claimed it could be a cleverly crafted hoax or a misidentification of a man-made object such as a drone or an aircraft. Despite the controversy, the 2011 sighting remains one of the most discussed UFO encounters in recent history, particularly because of its location at one of the most significant religious sites in the world. Other reports of UFO sightings over Jerusalem date back even further. In the 1990s, there were sporadic claims of strange lights and objects seen moving across the sky, often near the Temple Mount and other holy sites. These reports were typically dismissed as atmospheric anomalies or misinterpretations of natural phenomena, But the persistence of such sightings has led some to question whether there is something unique about Jerusalem that attracts these unexplained objects. UFO sightings near places of religious and historical importance, like Jerusalem, carry a deeper level of significance for many people. The symbolism of these events is often interpreted in ways that transcend typical UFO encounters. For some, the appearance of strange objects in the skies above sacred locations is seen as a sign of divine intervention, as though these sightings are messages from a higher power. In a city as spiritually charged as Jerusalem, where Judaism, Christianity, and Islam converge, the idea that a UFO could have a religious or mystical meaning is particularly resonant. This theory is supported by accounts throughout history of strange celestial events near places of religious significance. Ancient texts, including the Bible, contain descriptions of unusual lights, objects, and phenomena in the sky, which were often interpreted as omens or divine signs. For example, the Star of Bethlehem in Christian tradition is sometimes viewed as a UFO-like event, and in Islamic tradition, there are references to celestial phenomena associated with the Prophet Muhammad's night journey, which took place at the Dome of the Rock. Given Jerusalem's status as a religious epicenter, it is not surprising that UFO sightings above the city spark such intense speculation. For believers, these sightings offer a tantalizing possibility that humanity is being observed by forces beyond our understanding, forces that may be linked to both extraterrestrial visitors and divine entities. These connections between the spiritual and the extraterrestrial add layers of meaning to the sightings, making them more than just a question of strange lights in the sky. Despite the compelling nature of these UFO sightings, there are many who remain skeptical of their significance, particularly regarding those that occur over Jerusalem. Skeptics argue that the city's cultural, religious, and political importance often leads people to interpret natural phenomena or man-made objects as something more mysterious. While skepticism is warranted, the repeated UFO sightings over Jerusalem still intrigue researchers and enthusiasts. The city's importance as a religious and historical site makes these sightings more compelling than those in less culturally significant areas. These events continue to push the boundaries of our understanding of UFOs and challenge the public to consider how the spiritual and the extraterrestrial might intersect. The clear and detailed nature of the most recent UFO sightings in Jerusalem, particularly the glowing object hovering above the Dome of the Rock, adds to the growing body of evidence suggesting that UFOs are not a new phenomenon, but a persistent one. Whether these sightings are explained as natural phenomena, advanced technology, or something more mysterious, they remain a central focus for UFO researchers and believers. Additionally, the fact that these sightings are occurring at one of the most sacred locations on Earth raises important questions about the possible significance of UFOs in human history. The stories of the Bible have captivated the imaginations of people for millennia, chronicling miraculous events, divine interventions, and mysterious encounters that have shaped religious thought for centuries. However, in recent years, some researchers and theorists have posed a provocative question. Could some of these biblical events, especially those involving celestial or divine beings, have been sightings of unidentified flying objects? Given the lack of scientific knowledge thousands of years ago, ancient people may not have had the tools or language to accurately interpret and describe such phenomena. Instead, they might have framed these experiences within their spiritual and religious belief systems, attributing them to gods or angels. This theory, while controversial, opens up an intriguing perspective on ancient encounters and how they may relate to the modern-day UFO phenomenon. Many biblical accounts involve the appearance of celestial beings or mysterious objects in the sky that are described in religious terms. The story of Ezekiel's vision, recorded in the Bible's Old Testament, has fascinated scholars and theologians for centuries. However, in recent decades, some have proposed an intriguing and unconventional interpretation of the prophet Ezekiel's experience, that he may have been witnessing a UFO. Described in the first chapter of the book of Ezekiel, the vision includes vivid imagery of strange, otherworldly figures, flying objects, and bright lights that defy natural explanation. Given the technological limitations and worldview of Ezekiel's time, it's possible that the prophet interpreted what he saw as a divine encounter rather than an extraterrestrial one. This theory, while controversial, presents a compelling reimagining of one of the Bible's most enigmatic passages and raises intriguing questions about how ancient people might have interpreted potential UFO sightings. Ezekiel was a prophet in ancient Israel during the Babylonian exile, around 600 BCE. In the opening chapter of the book of Ezekiel, he describes an astonishing vision while standing by the Kebar River in Babylon. According to Ezekiel, the heavens were opened, and he saw visions of God. He describes a powerful whirlwind coming out of the north, accompanied by a great cloud with fire, lightning, and a brightness around it. Out of this fiery spectacle emerged 4 living creatures, each with 4 faces and 4 wings. These creatures appeared human-like, but had faces of a man, lion, ox, and eagle. Beneath them were wheels within wheels, which moved in all directions without turning. The whole vision radiated an intense light, with the sound of the wings described as the noise of great waters, or the voice of the Almighty. This vision, rich in symbolism and detail, is traditionally understood in a religious context, representing a divine revelation or encounter with heavenly beings. However, modern interpreters, particularly those within the UFO research community, have suggested that Ezekiel's vision bears striking similarities to descriptions of UFO sightings and encounters with extraterrestrial entities in contemporary reports. One of the most frequently cited pieces of evidence supporting the UFO theory is Ezekiel's description of the wheels within wheels. According to Ezekiel, these wheels were capable of moving in any direction without turning and had rims full of eyes. This description has led some to propose that the wheels could represent a flying craft or vehicle, similar to the way modern UFO sightings often describe flying saucers or objects with rotating components.